Hello my 3D printer peeps, I'm sitting here with the Creality High Combo. I am going to walk you through the setup, calibration, and test print. My High Combo came with this pathetic sample of HyperPLA. Please don't use this. Use a real spool of filament. I will demonstrate on some Creality RFID HyperPLA. RFID filament has this RFID tag. This tag contains the information on this filament. This information will allow the printer to know what size filament spool, what color, and what type of filament is installed. It then passes that information to Creality Print so Creality Print can automatically choose the correct filament profile when slicing. Before working with this filament, there are some things we need to do. Let's get them out of the way now. Go ahead and turn on the printer. Your CFS should have a bunch of blinky lights, and your screen should say Creality. I was disappointed to see that the Creality High doesn't have a boot up jingle. I think it's time Creality has its own boot up jingle. Choose your language and press OK. Right now it's basically asking you to keep this area clear. Press OK. Check this little circle. Press OK. Look for your network, touch it, and type in your password. Press the checkbox. You should see an IP address and a green check mark. Go ahead and press OK. Choose your time zone. -5 Eastern Standard for me. Press OK. You are international. Have your phone ready and wait for the QR code to appear. If it says it failed, don't touch anything. Wait until it appears. Go ahead and turn on your camera. It's now time to set up the Creality Cloud app. If you haven't installed the Creality Cloud app, do it now and make an account. Once you have installed the app and made an account, boot into Creality Cloud and press the plus button on the top right corner. Choose Scan Code to add device. Hold the camera over the QR code and it will prompt you to name your High Combo. I will name it Parvati. Finish. Yours should connect. On Creality Cloud app, it should show online. Press next and move on to calibration. Should your machine not show online, go ahead and press skip. We can always reconnect to the internet later. Keep in mind, there is most certainly going to be a firmware update required. You will need to run calibration after that firmware update. So, my apologies, we are going to run calibration twice. The good news is, this first calibration will at least let you know the machine is working. Press Start Detecting. You will see a laundry list of things the High is going to test. During part of the test, your machine will start to vibrate like crazy. This is normal. You will see that happen here on Input Shaping. Next up, the High is going to do an auto bed leveling. This will take some time to heat the nozzle and the bed. Don't be alarmed if it just sits there for a few minutes. You will notice, unlike older ABL mesh patterns, the High Combo is testing the bed in a square pattern starting from the inside out. With the self-check complete, go ahead and press OK, and you will land at the dashboard of the Creality High Combo. I want to show you a few settings on the High screen. Press the gear, and the first thing to look at is your screen off setting. It is defaulted to 3 minutes. You can set it to 5 or no setting. No setting means the screen will never go to sleep. Press back. Here is your screen brightness. I will turn mine up 1 notch. Scroll down, here is the self-check. If you need to rerun the input shaping or auto bed leveling, this is where you will do it. Go back, scroll down. Here in version checking is where you will see firmware updates. This will also push on Creality Cloud. That means you'll see it on your app, Creality Print 6, and crealityprint.com on your workbench. Scrolling down, this is an important one. CFS setting. In here, you will see startup detection. If you have 4 filaments in your AMS, when you turn the machine on, it will reread all 4 of those filaments. I strongly suggest turning it off. Remove and install filaments with the machine powered on. It will read them at that time. So there is no need for your machine to read all 4 filaments every time you turn the machine on, especially if you haven't made any changes to the installed filaments. Insertion detection means when you install a new filament, it will read the RFID tag. This is all you should need for most cases. Scroll down and you'll see automatic refill. If you are printing an object in a certain filament and it runs out, if you have another spool of filament in the CFS that is the exact same as that filament, the machine will switch to that roll and continue printing. Here on the main screen, you will see this folder icon. In this folder icon, you will see the files currently stored on the internal storage of the Creality Hi. If you were to stick a USB-C card in here, that would also show up here in the USB drive tab. Switching back to local, you will notice Creality has included several test files. These are the type of files you used to get on a USB drive. They now come pre-installed as part of the firmware on your Creality Hi. In here will be your history. This will show previously printed models and you will be able to reprint from there. We, however, will not send a test print locally. We will send it from Creality Print 6. I suggest you do the same. Let's load our CFS and then make the move to a computer so we can have a look at Creality Print 6 and crealitycloud.com. In order to watch the Hi combo work, you may click the hamburger and then touch into Material. Here you will see all 4 ports of your CFS and your spool holder. This spool holder is your external spool. It can be the official spool holder, an external roller, or anything similar. The first thing I'm going to do is show you how to load an external spool. If you are using the official spool holder, you will feed the filament through the back of the spool holder and connect the Bowden tube to this coupler right here. I am going to set mine up to use a filament roller. We will use a piece of verbatim high bond tape. You can find this at most stores and on Amazon. And I will attach this filament guide to the top of the Hi with the Bowden coupler facing forward and the mount facing diagonal. If mounted correctly, you will be able to turn the guide left and right so that it points to both front corners of the Hi combo. When you are satisfied with that position, place the filament guide onto the printer and let it sit. Like any quality adhesive, the Hi bond tape will slowly cure and create a strong bond over time. To switch from the CFS to our external spool, you will take this tab right here and push it up. You will pinch the little black coupler release down and pull up gently on the PTFE tube. Pinch here and place the tube into this coupler. Push one time until it stops. Do not pull test it. On the screen, make sure spool holder is highlighted by touching it. You will see the white border boxing in spool holder. Here on the side of the Hi combo, is the RFID reader. Take your filament with the RFID tag and touch it to that reader. That beep means your filament was read. You can see from here, the high combo recognizes the PLA. If you tap into it by pressing Edit, you will see Creality Hyper PLA, color red. All of this information from the filament profile has been preloaded for you. Go ahead and press OK. All that's left to do is to place the filament spool on the roller and feed it in the back side of the filament guide until it stops. The filament sensor will detect the filament. How can you tell? That little blue light. To load this filament, we would simply tap Extrude. You would then be ready to print with the external spool. We won't be doing that. We will move on to our CFS. Typically, if you are going to remove the filament, you would press Retract first on the screen. That would push the tip of the filament through a hot nozzle in order to melt off any blob, then retract it from the extruder so you can freely remove it. However, we did not load it, so we are free to go ahead and remove it now. I will simply pull it out, roll it up, and stick it into one of the holes, or both of the holes, on the side of the spool to prevent unwinding. Do note, the Creality High cannot detect the removal of that filament. You will press Edit, and you will press Reset, then OK. This will remove the profile from the printer. It's worth doing this so that you don't see it in Creality Print 6 and become confused. Unlock it by sliding both of these clips back and open the CFS. Inside the CFS are two covers like this. Pop them off. You might need to use a small tool and remove the bags inside. Open these bags, leave them as they are, and place them back in the slots. Do this for both sides. The CFS has an RFID reader in all 4 slots. Place the filament into the slot and feed the filament into the funnel until it grabs and begins to feed. Please note, the CFS works better with the lid closed. CFS 1 slot A, red Hyper PLA. At any time, should you need to reread the RFID, simply touch that little circular arrow above the filament. Blue RFID Hyper PLA, feeding that into the funnel till it grabs, closing the lid. Hyper PLA Blue has been added to the printer. We will want to switch this PTFE back to the CFS hub. Pinch the coupler and slide the PTFE tube out. Depressing the coupler releases very fragile teeth inside. Keep in mind the coupler is down here. Place it into the top hole and then feed it down, guiding it into the coupler down here. Once it's in that coupler, push down and then gently come up and you'll see the mechanism move, so you'll know you are connected. It's now time to move on to our computer to check in on Creality Print 6 and CrealityCloud.com. Here I am on CrealityCloud.com. I'd really like it if you guys would get comfortable using CrealityCloud.com. it's become a pretty decent place for all things Creality and a great workbench for your printers. First, log in to your Creality account and click here on Workbench. You will see here all your different printers. You will see here my Creality High, named Parvati, is online. If you need a firmware update, you'll see right here the notification for a firmware update. From this screen, you are able to click in and monitor your printer. You can see the camera, nozzle temp, hotbed temp, your CFS, movement controls, manual fan and LED controls, among other things. You may also go to local files and see the files on the internal storage of the printer. You may also go to select Cloud Slicing File and here see everything you've uploaded to your Creality Cloud account. If you have sliced anything specifically for the Creality High, it would show right here. Yes, Creality Cloud can tell which model printer a sliced file is for and organize it for you so that you see it inside that printer. Let's move along to Creality Print 6. Here in Creality Print 6, we need to tell it that you own the hide combo. Take your mouse, click up here, and look for Select Remove Printers. Click on that, and this screen will appear. Click into the High series, and check the box for Creality High. Your printer came with a 0.4 nozzle. Go ahead and press Confirm. The Creality High has now been added to Creality Print 6. Since you just chose it, it has been set as the current printer. You may find it by clicking this pull down and seeing all of your available printers. Similar to other Creality printer profiles, the bed type chosen was smooth PEI. The high combo actually comes with a textured PEI. Go ahead and select that. If I've been proven wrong, please go ahead and set it back to smooth PEI. You can confirm this by looking at your bed and noticing it does not say please apply glue before print. In order to connect Creality Print 6 to your High, we need to enter the device screen. In here, you will press Scan Add. This will check your network for online Creality printers. Here you can see the Creality High has appeared. Go ahead and check the box. I might as well check my K1 and V3 while I'm at it. Press Add. Press the X button and you can see all of my printers are here. My current device will be the Creality High combo, so I'll go ahead and check that little dot right there. And you'll see it now says current device. Go ahead and move to the Prepare screen. This should be a one-time thing. Should you lose connection to your High combo, go back into the device screen and do this again. On this screen, you'll notice my CFS has been properly synced to Creality Print 6, showing CFS 1A has red, CFS 1B has blue. Keep in mind, these colors are not automatically loaded into your project. To load them into your project, go ahead and press the plus button. You'll now see there are two filaments in my project. I will click on CFS and choose slot A. I'll click on filament number 2, CFS, and choose slot B. I now have both CFS filaments loaded into my project. I am going to use the multicolor print test from GT Telewizard TV on printables. I will drag it onto the bed. I will make it bigger. I will click into paint. I will use the height range. I'll max out the height range. I will leave the main color red as already shown, assigned to slot 1. and I'll make the next color blue, which is assigned to slot 2 by pressing the 2 key. I will go ahead and make this section blue. I will press escape, and here you can see my red and blue model. I will click on speed. I will set it to 180. This is a test print. We're not going crazy. It's also a small print. My first layer, I'll make that 50. I'll leave first layer infill at 60. No support. No brim. 2 walls, 10% infill. Go ahead and slice the plate. Here I will go ahead and press send to printer, and this interface will pop up. We do not need print calibration because we already did it. However, if this is your first print, might not be the worst idea. You may go ahead and press send only, which will upload this G-code to the printer and leave it on storage, or you may press start print, which will upload the file, then immediately start the print. This is asking you, is there anything on the print bed? No, there isn't. I will press OK. Here on Fluid, you will see the details of your current print job. Right here is the most recent upload, the multicolor test print. The LED light is turned on. The fans will be controlled by the printer. And if we scroll down, we can see the print progress. Here is the current nozzle temp, and here is the current hotbed temp. While this is happening, you are free to go back to the prepare screen and work on a totally different project. Keep in mind, while all this is happening, you may also monitor this print on your Creality Cloud app. Go ahead and touch into the printer, and all of that same information is right here in Creality Cloud. You will even be able to touch the camera icon and view your print from anywhere. I'm also going to throw a bigger one with more filament swaps at it, and no prime tower. Yay! It's a trophy. Your first poop. You may notice it's the wrong color. What's really happening is this printer was tested at the factory with blue filament, and it's now being purged by the red. Poop number 2 just came out, and indeed, it is red. Keep in mind, this print does not require a purge tower. I'm doing it simply because it's a test print. And here we have a successful color test print with the Creality High Combo. I'm Good Adventure, and you're on 3D Rundown.